I just want to start off by saying that True Justice really shows how much representation matters because, as far as I know, Steven Seagal is the only action star with sleep apnea. He's just in bad shape. That's it.
Oh, that was it?
That's it.
All right. Well, you tried. Welcome to Bottle Episodes.
You told me to make these up 5 minutes ago. You told me to make up jokes, and I'm doing the best I can, and I don't even want to do this episode anymore. You think you're so smart? Why don't you do an intro right now?
All right, guys. The only way we're going to get justice is if we kill Steven Seagal at the end of this.
Boo! Bad intro.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes.
Bottle Episodes.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes. My name's David Piccolomini.
I'm Daniel Crow. We have a guest today.
I'm Kevin O'Brien.
Yeah, you may have heard him on the last episode, secret guest.
Well,
Yeah, you had to stay to the end of the episode.
I got
After the
recruited.
credits.
I'll
Yeah.
put it that way. Much like one of Elijah Kane's subordinates, I got recruited.
Oh, man, yeah.
You don't look anywhere near as generic as them.
That's very kind of you because I am extremely generic
But
looking.
those people I could not pick out of a lineup while I was watching the show.
You bring up a great point. It seemed like it was an entire show cast with extras
Yeah.
in lead roles.
Yeah.
Like just all these like types of people, but none of them are like actual actors.
Who else is going to agree to be in a show created by, starring, and written by Steven Seagal?
That's
though?
true. Well, in the second season, I did recognize one actor, but it was a total like, oh, that guy. But then I couldn't place what I knew him from either.
Can I guess? I bet
Go
it's
ahead.
Battlestar Galactica.
I think he was in Dead Man on Campus.
Wait, was it the FBI agent?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like an actual actor.
Yeah. Okay. I thought. Okay, that's what that guy. I was like, okay.
Aaron
I think
Douglas. Yeah.
No, the other dude.
Oh.
No, that guy. He could act though. That's true.
No,
I will say, Aaron Douglas looked like he could have actually been on a CBS police procedural.
Yeah.
Where
he's legitimately like a decent actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on season 2 of
Let's-
True Justice. We can get to that later.
Okay, so hold on. Let's talk about the Bottle Episodes, the show where we watch the pilot and the top-rated episode on IMDb of a terrible television show.
To determine if it ever got better.
Yeah.
Give it a fair shot, all that.
And this one, ironically, it was the pilot and then the final episode.
Yeah.
People rated the finale so highly because they were just glad it was done.
Oh, really? I thought it.
I'm
'cause
just
it-
assuming.
I thought it because it finally almost resembled an actual TV show.
No, so a lot of times people do almost a salute to the television show. They'll
Yeah.
be like, especially like shows like this where it's someone being like, "All right, I love this show," and the finale, best episode.
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy to see the juxtaposition between that pilot and then the last episode. Was it like 25
Yeah.
episodes later? It seemed like a lot happened in just those 2 seasons, yet I got caught up on it within like 30 seconds.
It was a pretty much entirely new cast in the second season.
Well, so spoiler alert. I found this out last night watching these episodes. So the whole first season, it's this whole other crew. It's like this knockoff wannabe NYPD Blue that's shot to make you feel like you're on crystal meth or something.
I wish it had been like NYPD Blue, because then we got some sweet Seagal nudity.
Yeah, right. get that Dennis Franz
Yeah.
buzz going with Seagal. But that, like, and they're in Seattle, which you wouldn't know is like this crime-ridden hellhole apparently for this like local police department.
Oh.
The most establishing shots of a city I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, it was
in
like
between every conversation is an establishing shot of the Space Needle.
yeah, it was like watching MTV in the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Just like 120 minutes reels all over the
Yeah.
Well,
place.
as they're just like going through the refugee camps of
New
Yeah.
Orleans refugees.
Seattle.
yeah,
So it was clearly written like right after Katrina, but then some time had passed, so they were just like, and the oil spill
Yeah.
was the reason they were out there.
it's I found the pilot was one of the more confounding things I'd seen in a minute. But then the final episode first of all, second season, completely different crew.
Yep.
And they just tossed this out as an aside. Thankfully, caught me up on everything I missed, which was, well, he was in deep cover as the head of a police department in Seattle, but really he was CIA. Now he's into dirty ops, and I go, oh, so that's what I missed over the previous 20 episodes. Or think about the fans that watched that what they thought was one show, and then all of a sudden it's like, psych, this guy was actually in deep cover the entire time.
Well, so Steven Seagal wanted to get this show made real bad, and was
clearly,
Yeah.
but he wrote. He wrote every episode of the first season.
Can I make a guess? I guess he dictated every episode.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the
He
first
didn't pull out
se-
pen and
No.
paper. He wasn't opening up a Google Doc.
He was walking around, hands behind his back, pacing, telling an intern, and then I speak Chinese.
Yeah. And you're right, because it's painfully obvious based off of, like, so every character speaks in, like, this sort of, like, cliche hood patois. Like, even the guy who's supposed to be the head of this police department is, like he's giving it this weird, like,
Yeah, it's just
talking like baby mama and stuff like that. And-
Seagal says the phrase "white boy" or "white trash" about 100 times in
yeah,
this
the
episode.
white boy thing. Thank you. That's what
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking of. Where it's like, dude, you're white.
Yeah.
But like,
this is how I relate.
but it's not just him. It's like all of the characters talk.
Because
Yeah.
that's how he, I guess, talks.
But
well, that's
Seagal-
what he imagines a city to be.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say.
He also adopts the accent of whoever he's talking to. When he talks to the one black guy on his team, he puts on a black accent, and he goes and talks to those guys from New Orleans, and he puts on a Cajun accent. And I don't think he's doing it on purpose.
He's just trying to fit in.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately, he just wants to be part of the crew.
So, fun fact, the first episode exclusively written by Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
And you can tell. You can definitely tell.
Every episode after that from the first season written by Steven Seagal and a guy named Joe Halpin, who is just a guy who works on like every like FBI, Chicago PD, Secrets and Lies, Hawaii Five-0.
So this guy is like the ringer of procedurals. They were like, okay, all this is just cliche dialogue and like no story. We need a guy in here who could at least like write us an episode. Because that's the other thing with that first episode. They drop you into a world like it's 3 seasons in already, except the relationships between all these people gives you no indication of like what the world is there. So there's like no character development, but everybody's playing it like there's a lot of character development, which just boils down to them like talking shit at each other. Like every character just talks shit at the other character.
They're all so mean to each other.
They have all this baggage, but you never find out what the fucking baggage is.
Seagal has had this idea in his head for years, probably, and it just kept developing and developing. So in his mind, he knows how they all know each other, but he
true.
never shows us. He's been thinking about this since the 90s, probably.
By the way, Joe Halpin actually, I misread that. That's all the stuff he got to do after True Justice.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
he
this is
cut
what
it.
launched him.
He pivoted from True Justice. He was
So he
also,
found his calling.
he
working
wrote one
on
episode of Dark Blue, but no, he found his calling writing Into the Sun when a government official is killed. An American operative, Steven Seagal, with experience in Yakuza culture, is brought in to investigate.
Okay.
So he wrote like a Steven Seagal Yakuza
Yeah, that's the other
picture.
thing with like this first episode. Apparently, it's like a Yakuza thing, but they never really mention it more than just like this little girl who lives in America her whole life doesn't speak English. She only speaks Mandarin. So we have to like get a translator.
No, they don't, because Steven Seagal speaks it, but then decides he's bored of it.
Oh, okay.
Like, he meets her and immediately speaks Mandarin to her, and he's like, get a medic. And then later,
They're like, we
they need
need
to
it.
bring in a translator.
Yeah.
And it takes a couple days.
And then the other thing, like this episode, there's no. First of all, there's barely a plot at all, and then whatever resolution there is, there's still like another like cliffhanger on top of it.
So I figured that out.
Please.
So, yeah, I've done a little bit of deep diving into this.
And for the listeners, this is available on Tubi,
Freebie,
and it originally aired on Reels.
yeah.
You know, where
No.
all the great.
It originally aired in Spain,
Oh, really?
and then got picked up in some other countries in Europe, and then Reels picked it up.
Oh,
But then Reels commissioned the second season.
So that
everyone else in the country had thought better
Okay,
of it. Or
so
everyone
that
else in the world, rather.
Thank you so much. That totally explains why the first season looks like kind of like a telenovela meets like a bad porn or something. You
You're
know,
right.
with,
I didn't think about it, but it
like
is
the camera quality and all that, and it's kind of disorienting and like And then you watch the second season, and it just looks like an episode of a CBS show or something.
And I think, well, they brought in new writers, and you could tell, like, it is like one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, there's a budget attached to this.
Yeah.
Reels is trying, I guess. That's like, I guess they were trying.
Wait,
at
that was
point.
their slogan?
I guess.
Reels, we're trying, I guess. Like, I want to know what the other Reels shows
I
were.
know
now.
what Reels' slogan was because I remember seeing the commercials and they looked like they were for a fake channel.
Yeah.
It was TV about movies was their slogan.
Oh, I always thought of Reels like.
What does that mean?
Exactly. It looked fake every time I saw it.
Well,
TV about
movies. was
That
their
channel
slogan.
always looked like the ads that play before the trailers of a movie at a theater. You know, it was like just a whole channel of that.
I think it was mostly just excerpts of interviews with movie stars for whatever they were promoting. But then for some reason,
they wanted to
decided
get
to
into
get
the
into a
concept.
Seagal
Breaking
show.
Bad, baby.
Probably,
As
yeah.
soon as Breaking Bad,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like, hey, you could launch a channel out of nowhere with one just gritty drama.
Seagal almost certainly said, "This is my Breaking Bad." At some point.
Oh, of course. I mean, actually, I doubt that because Steven Seagal would never think that he's playing up to anything else, right?
Yeah.
Isn't the whole thing of Steven Seagal is that he's the greatest no matter what? So, like,
technically, Breaking Bad is Bryan Cranston's True Justice.
Yeah.
yes, there you go.
Steven Seagal, we all agree, is the greatest action star ever.
I mean,
But he's still working his way up in music.
I did watch a lot of I did watch a lot of Seagal in college. Fire Down Below, Hard Target. These are quality films.
Here's the thing:
Under Siege 2
Every
on a
Steven
train.
Seagal movie sounds like a porn.
It does.
Fire Down Below
Fire
and
Down
Hard
Below,
Target.
I don't want to say I like took an educated guess, but I was
you
like,
assumed as much about me?
I was like, Kevin's gonna really enjoy it's like you're gonna like not enjoy, but you're the right person to send a weird Steven Seagal.
Dude, I kid you not. When you said you get Seagal, I was giddy because like sometimes in this kind of stuff it could suck. Like, and it like truly sucks that it's hard to deal with. Where this was like, oh man, I haven't seen Seagal in a while. And then after watching 2 episodes, I watched it last night. It was kind of later. I kind of wanted to watch a third one, and I pulled up Tubi and I go, "What are you doing, dude? Go to bed." But I got like lulled into this like mindless weird Seagal police procedural thing that I wasn't even like laughing at it. I was just like, oh yeah, this is my man. This is what he does. Like he's just out here breaking elbows. That's all he wants to do.
Slowly lumbers towards people and pretends to punch them and misses by a foot.
Well, and I also have just been a fan of the Seagal voice. You know, the way he's just like he's like, yeah, I think we'll do that. You know, that sort of.
But I think it's even less than it was.
Well, yeah, because he's all bloated and old in this, and like you can see. I mean, I thought John Taffer had terrible, like, fake spray-on hair, but man, Steven Seagal's taking a new level in this. It's like, it's a color of black I didn't even think exists in the universe. Like,
Anish Kapoor is solid. He had to go to... Yeah, deep cuts. Okay, wait, no, I didn't actually explain why it ended on
please.
a cliffhanger.
Yes.
It's because they then turned these into Seagal movies that they put out on DVDs.
Same cast, same characters?
It's
No.
just,
Well, obviously different cast,
No, no,
different
no, no, no,
characters.
no, no,
They
yeah.
didn't even carry it
Every
over
2
seasons.
episodes are combined to make one movie.
Really?
Episode
Yeah.
1 and 2.
So they're all. That's
3
why
and
they all
4.
end on cliffhangers, and that's why the second episode makes less sense because we came into it mid cliffhanger.
Guys,
Gotcha.
Reels literally was TV about movies.
Whoa.
It was. Oh my god! It was such a funny, like weird.
Dude.
Because I watched it and they like shoot the girl and it's like there's a bigger conspiracy and I was
Well,
like,
so I
don't
knew-
have time to commit to more Seagal.
I knew he was putting out his own movies for a while. I didn't really watch those because, like I said, I'm a fan of the classics.
Yeah.
You know, the 80s, 90s fair. Because those are at least, like, done well, like
They're
a John
competently-
Wick movie
Yeah.
or something. It's a good action movie where with this, and I'm sure with, like, this, because he self-released the movies, right? Wasn't that part of it, too? He's, like, in Russia or something?
Yeah.
He's in Russia because of the tax and sexual assault allegations against him.
Okay. But also, like, doesn't he have his own studio there, too, or something? Like,
Probably.
Yeah, and so it's all he more than anyone needs outside collaborators. You know, he's not Sylvester Stallone.
No, I wouldn't watch a one-man show of Steven Seagal.
You know, that's what I mean. Like when left to his
Actually,
own devices,
I would watch a one-man
You're
show.
right. I would watch a one-man show of Steven Seagal.
You made me watch 2 episodes of this. By the way, each one's 45 minutes long. These aren't like sitcom like.
Because
No.
they're half of a film.
I know. Well, yeah.
And I say film specifically.
Yeah, of course.
These are not movies.
No, these are high quality
TV about
pictures.
film.
Yeah.
Television about cinema.
Yeah, these belong in a museum. But that makes a lot of sense. I can't. That's the only thing that makes sense about this, because like, I just don't understand what the world it is that he is creating in his own mind that he isn't putting on the page, but everybody else seems to be in on. You know, that's the strange part of it, is that there's like all of these like backstories, but the audience never finds out what they are.
I'm imagining that people would go up to Seagal on set and ask a question about their character and like, why am I doing this thing? And Seagal would just be like, all will be revealed in time. Just real vague stuff to them.
Jeez. Yeah. Like,
Also, Seagal is clearly showing up in whatever clothes he was wearing. Everyone else has a wardrobe that fits them. Seagal in the first episode is wearing like a dirty jacket that's got wrinkles in it.
Mm-hmm.
He just wasn't doing wardrobe. He wasn't showing up for fittings.
no, because to him, it's all just kicking somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and also, by the way, he's like a notorious Buddhist, but also like just the most hostile one at that, because like he says he's a Buddhist, but then you watch this show and the only thing that he truly like tries to convey is that he could beat people up and he's the righteous one, you know, which is very un-Zen, dude.
That's where he lives, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just lives in that place of like just being like, I'm mad, I'm ready to fight.
Yeah, but he's like, I'm also a Buddhist. Like,
Have
what do
we
you
ever considered that Steven Seagal just picked that because it's the only religion with boo in the name?
I think it's just because it's the only religion where there's no actual like higher authority.
Yeah.
So he can be his own higher authority.
That makes sense.
That-
David, you look confused. It's because people boo him.
Oh,
I didn't mean like ghosts.
I was confused.
Because he's bad.
Oh,
Let's start the podcast over.
the thing with like, I guess in Buddhism, someone probably just pitched him and was like, "Hey, did you know that you're God?"
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's got to be it, because the actual like practice of it is completely counter to everything he's built his life on. Like,
Yeah.
this show is if you strip away everything away from like a Seagal movie, and it's just like him, and all it is people mad at each other, speaking in like kind of racist cliches, and then storming out of places, and then he comes in and kicks everybody's ass, and they're like, "Oh, thank you so much, sir."
With a lot of cuts.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The cutting in this.
That's what I was saying. The first episode, it was like I felt like I was on crystal meth or something, because
Just like the average Steven Seagal fan.
right? Yeah. Right.
yeah, kick his ass. Also, deconstruct that microwave.
Yeah. The very first scene, they're going on what seems to be the world's worst drug bust.
Yeah, what was that?
What happens in this drug bust where the guy gets away for that long? Also, you know Seagal's old because the majority of the show is him just sitting in a car.
Yeah.
The first
Part
drug
of
bust
that
is like every single scene where he just sitting in a car and everybody's like, "Hey, wow, chase him down." He goes, "I got him," and then he just opens the door and then beats the shit out of him, and then like throws him into a cell, and then everybody is like, "Ooh, kind of rough on him." Is like, "You think he deserves rights?" And then it's like,
Yeah.
The show is clearly written by Steven Seagal because every scene is designed to make him look like the coolest guy.
Yeah.
There's the one where the bouncer at the strip club beats up the young man.
yeah,
And then Seagal tracks that guy down and beats him up.
yeah.
Easily.
And then his like informant has to, like, that's every character does this, but the informant in that first episode was like, "You know, I owe everything to you, Kane." And
Yeah.
so there's always this moment
Yeah.
where everybody, and then you look at it as like, what would this guy have ever done for anybody else, let alone everyone else, to ingratiate enough like power and goodwill that he just shows up to like trailers where biker gangs are running their operations without a warrant, without any backup, nobody stops him, and then he just beats the shit out of the entire gang and nothing happens to him. It's insane.
It's a I like that Steven Seagal is just like what happens if like Tommy Wiseau could have done a split.
Dude.
No, you're thinking of Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. Jean-Claude does a split. I don't know if Seagal.
Seagal could
Seagal
not.
can't do a split, but
Speaking of which, Seagal is lumbering in this show. He is moving around like a
De Niro-
retired NFL
He looks like
lineman.
De Niro in The Irishman
Yeah,
when they had to
that's what
age
he's
him
got to
down.
be the young guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
it is just like Frankenstein's monster,
Yeah.
just constantly lumbering.
Dude, he's so monosyllabic. Yeah, dude. He's just like, "Ugh."
punching.
Yeah.
That actually, it is the most like. I wonder what he's just being injected with to just like keep all the pieces moving.
Well, and
Russian steroids.
Yeah, of course.
Fair.
And this guy Elijah Kane, terrible name too, which I'm sure has some ridiculous meaning that he won't explain to us. At the end of that last episode, the cliffhanger that never gets resolved, because spoiler alert, no season 3. He just like leaves his crew twisting in the wind.
But he says, I'll find you.
Yeah, that's all he says though.
Yeah.
Like he has this whole crew that are, I guess, like black ops, secret CIA that no law enforcement authorities know who they are, so they're all trying to arrest them. Meanwhile, this other gang is these people get shot so much, don't die somehow. Yet all the actual cops die on one shot. So I don't know what he's trying to say there, but. Then at the end of it, it was like
Believing in Seagal actually protects you from bullet damage. It's
Maybe
like
that's-
it's an area of effect that
that's what it is. He's so powerful.
everybody gets a leadership bonus
I'll tell
when
you
I'm
what
here.
Steven Seagal's trying to say, and it's the thing he's trying to say in every episode and everything he's ever done. He thinks he should be on money. Just, I don't mean that literally, but I do mean it literally, but I mean it like figuratively. Steven Seagal just thinks he's the best, thinks he should be remembered forever, and everyone should worship him.
And if anything, we're lucky that he just made this show and these movies, because he could have taken over some small, destabilized country.
That's true. He still could.
I mean, probably.
Give it time.
Think about it. He's living in Russia. He's probably friends with Putin. I'm surprised he hasn't been installed in like Azerbaijan or something like that, or Georgia, or like a small former Soviet state. Because
Steven
That would be-
Seagal is governor of a part of Ukraine.
I'm going to say, Dave, you should cut that out, and you should write that as a comedy film.
oh, dude.
Where someone is not obviously not Steven Seagal, not obviously Russia, but essentially
I don't
want to
give him any ideas, because I think he would do it for real.
No,
It's
so you get
like-
someone to play Steven Seagal.
He has such. You're right, though. He has such like a classic autocratic tyrant sort of demeanor and worldview and everything and he kind of looks like a guy who would, like in South America or like something back in the 70s, just with the way his hair's done, rocking Fu Manchus.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like
You know when you see a dictator wave and it looks like it's tiring them out?
yeah.
You're just like, he's got sorry for doing a visual gag on the
No,
podcast.
No, I get you though.
I get what you
Yeah.
mean though. That like that tiny wave where it's like I'm not. Yeah,
He would wave like that.
Yeah, like he's too well casted that I'm happy that it didn't become a reality.
I think Steven Seagal might be the only person who downloads and listens to bottle episodes that we talk about on
Hi,
the
Steven.
podcast.
He's got
Like we make that joke a lot, but I really
He's
think
got a bot that anytime he hears his name, it just like grabs it and puts it in front of him.
It explains why we keep getting so many downloads out of Russia.
No, he actually has two different. It's one. He has one for his name, which gets hit all the time because people are always just typing
Sure.
his name. But he's one specifically for True Justice.
Oh yeah, I'm curious. Like, did you guys go on any like subreddits? Was there actual fans of this
I
show?
didn't find one.
Yeah.
I always look for subreddits to see what people think. I didn't find one for this.
Like, because I obviously, there isn't going to be a huge fan base for a Steven Seagal vanity project like this. At least not.
This is the fan. This is the
yeah,
first
right.
ever
Like
meeting.
not earnestly,
Yeah.
but the fact that it got a season 2.
It was
And it's like the production quality is more normative,
Yeah.
and there's like better actors, would lead me to believe that there's like some people out there somewhere that were watching this, but
that feels like Reels channel going. It's the only thing we've got with any recognizable name.
yeah,
We might as well see if season 2
Which
sticks.
it's just funny that this show we found the bottom of the internet. Like I've been under the assumption there's a subreddit for everything.
Oh,
there's
no.
a community for everything, but not this.
Kevin, let me just say, as someone who's watched about 30 plus of these TV shows now, welcome to the bottom. You haven't quite hit the bottom.
Really?
the
This is-
bottom we have yet to record our episode on. It's Ren and Stimpy's adult party cartoon.
I've seen that.
Jesus
I hate it.
Christ, yeah.
It's really upsetting. And it's even more upsetting once you find out what's
the
going
stuff-
on with
Yeah.
John Chris Lucy during that entire situation. Yeah, and I love Ren and Stimpy, so that's why I find it's like ripping my heart out watching that thing.
You're a pretty genial person. I
try
watched
to.
the light go out of your eyes.
Oh, I got so depressed.
Like even just talking about it for a second, you're like,
no.
There was like you've been having fun talking about Seagal, and you were like, I hate it. I think it's awful. And like there was
You're
nothing.
right. That was a bizarre tonal shift out of me. That's
Like,
how
that's
much it
the-
hurt me.
That's what I
That's
was
the
like.
thing.
That's the bottom.
Yeah.
I watched the show and I'm like, okay, so I watched that. I don't want to not watch it for anything, so we need to do an episode at some point. But how would we ever make it funny?
Yeah, that's
So
rough.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to subscribe to us on Instagram at DPIC Comedy, at Daniel F. Crow, and at Corndog O'Brien. Go check us all out over there. Check out my special on YouTube. It's called Goblin King. And I'm on TikTok at LitGrandma69. You can go check out Kevin's shows. You can go check out Kevin's shows at Wacky Shack NYC. But I think that's over for this season, so that'll be back next spring, and then whenever you're listening to it, it'll be there. And then Fun Time at Fine Time at 9 p.m. It's a free show. It's very fun. I like to go do that sometimes. So go check out those shows. Go check out Kevin, and love yourself. Back to the episode.
Yeah, back to a more lighter
Yeah.
topic. Let's get the light back in my
All
eyes.
right. So Steven
yeah, we
Seagal-
need to give the plot of the first episode.
So it opens up at a convenience store where
The other home of Steven Seagal fans.
where these two nice young Asian convenience store, mom and pop shop convenience store, they're just going around, and then someone walks in, we don't see him, and then just shotgun.
just blows them away.
And it happens.
Graphic as hell.
It happens faster than you would think. It's literally like in 10 seconds.
It's pre-credit sequence.
Yeah. Establishing shot. Ding, ding, ding. Hi, welcome. And that's how the show starts.
I was like, am I watching a Quentin Tarantino movie? Or all of a sudden it was...
Well, Steven Seagal just got hard for the first time in 6 years.
Yeah.
Thinking about that.
But then we get the opening credits, and we see one of my favorite credits of all time, which is one of the actors' nickname
Yes.
is included.
my favorite too.
Big Sleep?
Little
Big
Sleep.
Little Sleep? Big
Little
Sleep.
Sleeps.
I thought it was Little Sleeps.
William Big Sleeps Stewart.
Yes. Big Sleeps. And then, which I paused that immediately.
My assumption is Seagal gave him that nickname. Was like, you got to put it in the credits.
So I guessed that he was probably like some Z grade rapper that I never heard
Oh,
of.
maybe.
And then I think I pieced it together, and I think you might be right. During one of the episode, I looked, and he's got like kind of a like wonky eye that makes him look kind of sleepy. And I think Seagal probably was like, "Yo, what's up, Big Sleeps?" And then that's how he got it.
He's doing nicknames like Donald Trump.
Yeah, right. Or George W. Bush,
Yeah.
just like shooting finger guns at everybody.
I mean, you could talk shit on Big Sleeps all you want. He's been in 43 things.
What other things has Big Sleep's been in?
Coffee and Kareem.
Oh,
He made it into that Netflix one. Cloud Vandemic. I don't know what that is.
with Van
Is it
Damme?
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I think it's about a van.
Boo.
Yeah. Oh, it's a web series. Never mind. My bad,
Okay.
guys.
Well, either way, Big Sleeps is doing better than all of us.
Yeah, he's in Game Over, man.
Oh, Big Sleeps.
And to Big Sleep's credit,
15 of True Justice. Never mind. That makes sense. Okay.
he seemed to be the one who was like not going it over the top. I mean, every other actor in this thing is at 110 the entire time.
Not Seagal. Seagal is
Well, of
operating.
course, he's at zero.
Zero,
That's
yeah.
why maybe that's why they're all cranking it so hard,
It's-
because
it's-
he's giving them nothing.
It's
That's not
so
generally
weird
what
how
people
zero
say.
he is.
mean when they say cranking it, but okay.
Well, yeah, I don't
Trevor's-
mean like beating off. I mean like
Just
literally like
Seagal.
I mean like literally turning the knob like
Yeah.
a crank.
And then we get the angriest cop I've ever seen in a television show.
Yeah, what's this guy's deal?
They don't explain it. He's just angry. He's so mad at everything. He kids. Well,
Yeah, what was that thing at the end where he was like mad at the new recruit, and then she like says like, "Hey man, what's the deal?" And he goes, "You're the new kid. New kids get hazed." And we're like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, what? All right, man. This
Which
guy.
Seagal definitely hazes people on set,
Oh, for sure.
which is why he wrote that in.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was there. wasn't he almost kicked off of SNL the week he was hosting?
Yeah, I
and they
think
were going to find a replacement host because he was
Yeah.
so unlikable. Like,
He's like the worst host they've ever had.
Yeah.
They said, yeah.
It's like an unaired. It's like not unaired, but it's never aired again. Kind of like
Yeah. because like the crew was going to walk out because he was just going around tapping people in the nuts or whatever. I don't know.
I think they said he pitched multiple sketches that involved him like sexually assaulting people. And he thought it was funny,
Ooh.
if I remember correctly.
Well, and there was this sketch where he beat up all the Exxon executives,
Jesus
and he
Christ.
thought he's like, and they're like, okay, and he was like, no, this is great, and they put it in there.
Maybe there's some episodes of True Justice where he reused those ideas.
Also, do we ever find out what the true justice is?
Did
Like,
this come
there's
out-
no like name check. Like in the pilot of Breaking Bad, he goes, "Oh, so you think you can break bad or whatever?" Like, there's there's no reference to any true. His name's not True or Travis Justice.
I
Or,
didn't look up when this came out, but is it possible this came out around the time of True Detective and they were hoping to get confused?
2011, 2012.
Okay, True Detective would have been 13 or 14.
So True
yeah.
Detective. This inspired
I
True
think-
Detective.
Yeah, they were trying to
See?
get the True Justice viewers.
Yeah.
But they may have been doing because true crime is like that
Yeah.
kind of like.
Yeah.
But also, True Justice is just a generic name that you would give to a cop show.
That's true. That's why this whole thing feels like it was made on a different planet or something. Where like
The Reels
in a
Network.
yeah, right. Yeah. That though, like I said, now knowing that it was a foreign production initially, it definitely informs why it's kind of uncanny in a lot of ways.
Well-
where it's like they're trying to replicate American procedural TV, but they're
So
kind of getting it all wrong and just doing it.
So the Shield actually has like shooting style wise, it's like an incredible version of what this is.
Well,
Like,
that's what I was saying. NYPD Blue stuff I saw that they're trying to do, but then it's just like shots of people's feet as they're walking away. Or when they're going out on the drug bus, it's just 2 minutes of people like putting things in their pockets and like shots at people opening drawers and closing drawers a lot, which then is like comes back in a flashback where it's like, hey, I saw that salve in your drawer. He's like,
Yeah.
what are you trying to say?
Well,
and
it's-
like I planted that on him. I was like, wait.
so they're trying.
Their shot wasn't even long enough. There
Yeah.
was no Chekhov's gun of that. It was just like,
Yeah, they're just trying to get to drug
and also it
dealers,
didn't
sort
amount
of.
to anything. They're like, anyways, this guy's going to jail.
Yeah, it's full on the room storytelling.
It's you're right.
Where they're
This
like,
is Tommy with
I definitely have breast cancer, and then it never
Yeah,
shows up
yeah.
again.
Well, the other thing about, can we talk about the drug bust specifically?
Yeah, that's
Like-
the next plot point anyway, right?
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't. Okay, so yeah, they're going to like they're trying to get like the drug dealer, or they're trying to get him, and the guy just walks up to him.
And that guy can act. Let's give it up for the drug
Oh.
dealer. That guy can actually act. He's trying, and he's doing a good
Here's
job.
the thing: is I think a lot of these people can act. Not all of them.
Move. That's
Because
generous.
Steven Seagal is in this.
Well, sure,
Yeah.
but I'm saying most of the actors can act. It's the thing of like you never think about how hard it is to act when you're like trying to deliver lines written
Yeah.
by Steven Seagal.
Yeah, talk about like the ultimate take it off the page exercise. You know, like they should give this script to kids in acting school. You know?
Wait, how old?
Like 18, 19.
I was really
yeah.
hoping like 6 year
No,
olds.
I mean like at like a professional, like
Just a bunch of
like
chilled-
at the new school or something. They
Yeah.
got him doing
Just a
like
children's theater where
Like
they
get
keep saying,
emotion from Steven Seagal.
Yeah,
is
not-
a great.
That being said, children's theater that's pretty fun.
they
pitch.
keep saying white boy
Yeah.
over and over.
Hey, white boy.
I would love
David finally revealing his natural voice on the podcast.
Oh no, I'm back. No, I wish that was. I could get casted so many voice
Yeah.
things.
So you could just do that voice whenever you
Oh,
want.
all right. Well, hey everybody, welcome to Bottle Episodes.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah,
this
I don't
voice.
like it.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It'll get stuck in your head. Okay, I'm done. Okay. So yeah, but the when they get the drug dealer, like yeah, they're just like the cop is like, "Are you a cop?" And he's like, "No."
Yeah, well, no, the cop flips it on him. He asks the drug dealer, he's like, what are you, a cop? And he laughs at him.
Oh.
And then a few seconds later,
Also, those
they-
cops are right there. They are not far away.
well, why are they standing in line all with each other? Then nobody swarms on him. He whistles first to like give it away. Like,
Yeah.
He wants it to be fair.
yeah, you develop such a relationship with the dude in his deep cover, and then it's just that's one of the more upsetting parts where it was like they this clearly is all just set up to have Seagal just hit him out of the car door.
Yeah.
And then that's where I immediately was like, oh, this whole show is just Steven Seagal sitting in a car beating people up. So that the plot always has to serve that.
How dare you? He gets out of the car to beat people up.
That's true. Well, barely.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't see all the episodes. Maybe there's one where he just does a drive-by and he punches the guy in the face. Doesn't even break.
Clotheslines.
Yeah, right? Like,
That's actually not a bad action sequence.
I mean, give me on the writing staff for season 3.
Yeah.
But then they get info from that drug dealer, and then most of the episodes them just going down the line of people he says he got the drugs from.
Yeah, and everybody flips immediately.
So
Even the one who has a lawyer flips immediately. It's crazy. It's like, this is heroin.
Yeah.
These are heroin dealers. And they're just like, all right.
Yeah, you got me.
Babe.
He goes to the strip club. They talk to the woman that runs the strip club, and then she sends them to the New Orleans refugees.
Whoa, you blew past the part where the door guy at the strip club for no reason at all beats a cop up.
Yeah.
And then he tracks him down and beats him within an inch of his life.
Yeah.
Which then sets off some strange subplot where he thinks his partner thinks that he planted the evidence to beat the guy up. Like, cops need evidence to beat a guy up. He got punched in the face anyway.
Yeah, he already got assaulted.
I'm thinking too logically for this show. You
Yeah.
know, I think
Well,
the key is...
You got to get into Seagal headspace.
Well, and that's why I was glad I watched it after midnight last night. Because, like, you got to just let
Gremlins
it...
rules.
Yeah, you just got to let it wash over you.
You have to eat something shitty, and it
Yeah.
has to be after midnight.
Yeah.
You have to be a gremlin
to enjoy
to
Seagal.
enjoy
That's
this.
why,
yeah.
like, at first I was like, what the what? Oh, this is ridiculous. Well, that's kind of funny. But then by the second episode, I was just kind of grooving with it.
And then they just go through all they go to the strip club, and that guy.
And then at some point they bring back the fact that those people were shot in the cold open.
Yeah.
Like at the last minute.
Also,
Guys are getting assassinated in the club, and there's Russians involved, which seems crazy that he would have Russians be the villain since he lives in Russia.
Well, this
Not at the time,
2011.
Not at the time.
Oh, okay. All right.
They paid him off to stop this. So they knew he was too
Oh.
influential.
That's my kind of conspiracy theory.
So the A plot is them tracking down the drugs. But then the B plot is they have to solve that murder from the beginning.
yeah.
So then Seagal, they go to
Oh,
the convenience store. They find the little girl, the daughter of the people who were murdered.
She was
in the
hiding
bush
out in the woods.
for
yeah.
I guess like a week or
I'm
something.
so dumb. I thought these two plots were intertwined.
Not
with each
really.
other.
They are a little bit.
Okay, there are like allusions to them being connected somehow, right?
Okay, so here's the thing: if we
Or was I just like in vibe mode at that point that I just was like assuming everything was connected because I wasn't really paying attention to a plot. I was just
By the
watching
way,
them beat people up.
I love vibe mode. Sorry, I'm enjoying Steven Seagal. I'm in vibe,
mode. Yeah, I shut off my critical faculties. Like I was just like, oh, cool. Now he's slapping that guy around.
Here's the thing about Steven Seagal. This is in Seattle, this show.
Yeah.
Seattle is one of the highest Asian populations in the country. So you see an Asian person in Seattle. It's not unusual.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal sees this little Asian girl, immediately speaks Chinese to her. He just
Yeah.
assumes she's
No,
not from
Mandarin.
America.
He says Mandarin.
Yeah.
Not just Chinese. He guesses the
He
correct
guesses correct.
dialect.
What people don't know is he used to be in the Yakuza.
But, like,
Oh, is that later in the first season?
No, in the movie. In the
Oh,
movie, I was
There's
going back to the movie.
Oh, yeah.
plenty of Asian people living in Washington State that are just they've
They
been in
speak
America
English.
their whole life. Their parents have been. They speak. He sees them immediately. Just
She's 10.
right into exactly. Yeah,
And he's right.
Yeah.
She doesn't,
It's
which is
weird that
even
he's
weird.
right.
Well, because he
wrote it.
Yeah.
It is funny the idea that like Steven Seagal, and he wouldn't do it because he can't make fun of himself.
Yeah.
But if he just started speaking Chinese to the Mandarin to this little girl, just like I'm 10, I understand
Yeah.
English.
Yeah. That's what my first thought was when I was watching it. It's like I thought it was going to be because that happens on police procedural sometimes, right? Like you watch Law and Order, one of like the cocky detectives will assume somebody is
Like-
a stereotype, and they're like, "Oh, what?" Because I'm the and
Yeah.
and that didn't happen. No, it's just full on.
There is no subversion of expectations
Ever.
in this
Seagal
show.
wanted to show he could speak Mandarin
Yeah.
because at the time, like 2011,
No subtitles, by the way.
none. Yeah, he's like, I hope you understand.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you're not as smart as Steven Seagal.
This one's just for the Seagals.
All the Seagals and Seagals.
Sea guys and sea gals.
I'm willing to bet for a long time he showed off that he knew how to speak Mandarin because China was such a huge box office opportunity for Hollywood at the time. It's been getting phased out recently,
That's
but
true.
like he wanted to show you need someone to speak Chinese in your film.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm Steven Seagal.
Well, do you ever see that video of not The Rock, the other guy,
John Cena.
John Cena?
Wow.
just-
Okay. Guessed right first
Great.
time.
Yeah, you knew. It's
There
the
was-
other guy.
No, it could have been Batista.
or Vin Diesel.
Or
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. if we're going back a few
Yeah, I
years.
figured you were thinking of a wrestler.
That's fair.
It could
Okay.
have also been Hulk Hogan.
But you got it right on the first time. Let's spend more time
no,
checking out the other
we'll keep
answers.
naming wrestlers. Steven Seagal.
But John Cena, there's a video of him speaking fluent Chinese, apologizing for like things he said.
That's incredible.
Yeah, no, it's like he knows, like, yeah, it's a whole video of him just like apologizing for some like remark he made about Taiwan, I want to say, or something,
Oh.
because of like,
Whoa, because he didn't
because of
want
the market.
Whoa.
It's crazy. You get look, I'll link some of it here. Actually,
你好，中国，这是叫西娜。我必须说，现在，在《速度与激情》中，我做很多采访，很多，所以在一个采访，我有一个错误，所有人问我，如果我可以用中文。
yeah, it's like it's full.
That's unnerving. He says I have love and respect for China.
Well, sure, but what's like? I mean, is that what's wrong with that?
Well, he could have released a diss track.
Well, because it like
Well, no, it's the power of the Chinese market.
that's
where
what I
the-
mean.
Yeah.
It's like it's akin to like a guy off camera with a gun to his head or something.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
essentially.
Universal Studios.
yeah.
They're like, we have to put Fast and Furious 9 in China or we lose billions of dollars.
Yes. All because he said Taiwan's a country.
Yep. It's like
Which it sort of is.
now we can't do this podcast in
Bottle
China.
episodes not allowed
I
in
said
China.
sort of. I didn't. He said country. I said sort of.
Hey, Universal Studios, I want you to know I'm condemning his statement as strongly
Don't
as
even
possible.
get me started on Hong Kong. Then we're not even. We're not
I
even
just
gonna
started
get
apologizing in
through this
Chinese.
episode. Oh no, David!
Play the
I
apology
didn't mean
clip
to. I
again.
didn't mean to hang you out to dry. You're gonna
Play
get
the-
Cena
I
over here.
love China.
It's going to
So,
be
so,
nice
so,
when we
so
have to delete
much.
this whole podcast in a few years when one of us is successful.
Well, I encourage everybody to check that out because his Chinese is incredible.
It's. Look,
I mean,
it's
I
gonna-
don't.
I'm putting
speak
it in the
Chi- I
podcast.
don't
Don't worry.
speak Chinese, but I'm just impressed by his ability to master a difficult foreign language.
It's really impressive.
That's why at first I was like, "Wow, that rules," and then I saw what the context was, and I was like, "Oh no." I thought he was just really into the Chinese culture, but
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both.
sure.
I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I guess once you learn one language, it becomes much easier. It's like instruments.
Sure. But I mean, I speak one language and I haven't been able to pick up any others.
What language do you speak?
English.
Yeah,
Apparently.
in context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some variation of it.
Yeah.
I speak Nebraskan.
So then pretty much they start interviewing that little girl and they find out that the killer was one of the other cops
And how do they find out?
because she loudly points and talks as the woman walks past her in the hallway, and the other two cops go, wonder what she's pointing and screaming at.
And then
Oh,
as they
my God,
finally
it's
get
so
the
funny.
translator in there, and then the translator's like, hey, what's the deal? And the kid's like, it's a fucking cop. And then
Yeah.
It's a dirty cop.
yeah, just like, it's a dirty cop, it's that cop. And then the cop investigating is like, so the killer looked like that
Yeah.
cop lady?
She
And it's
had
like,
the same
looked
hair
like-
color.
Eye color. It was
Yeah.
something weird. Like she was explicit like 4 times. They kept
yeah.
going back and forth.
She's like, so the killer was a woman? No, yeah, that woman. Looked like her because she had blue eyes? Yeah, because that woman who's the cop killed him with
Thank
blue
God
eyes.
that translator advocated for that kid.
Because they kept blowing her off, and then finally the translator's like, yo, what the fuck did you not get here?
Yeah, she broke down. She's like, this is a clearly competent, intelligent
Yeah.
10-year-old
Yeah.
who knows what the murderer looks like. Meanwhile, by the way, if you were doing that back and forth, that cop is gone.
Yeah.
That cop, if I murdered 2 people and a surprise witness starts pointing at me, if I murder 2 people and anyone points at me, I am in the wind.
And then the cop just goes, hey, easy, kid. And then also, easiest easiest cases to close apparently in Seattle, because then they're just like, all right, I guess we'll just follow this cop, and then she's smoking by a pump on the gas, which don't do that. There's signs everywhere. It's like there's even a. Anyway, that's my own pet peeve. But you want to blow your car up? You crazy?
That would be funny if that's how she died.
I was kind of hoping for it, like it was RoboCop or something. But
I wish there had been an explosion and Seagal had been on set, because the perfect ending to his Wikipedia page is that he died at a gas station explosion in the pilot for a show he wrote and created.
Yeah, right.
That's the perfect end to his Wikipedia page.
And then she just like tosses a cigarette.
Still time, buddy.
The other cop goes over, just picks it up as evidence.
Yep.
Then it's like, keep this on the down low. And then they just follow that lady and then immediately close the case. That lady gives herself up immediately, like all these people do. They put her in a safe house. She's walking out of a safe house looking all sketched out. And guess what happens?
Murdered.
Boom. By a sniper. He takes off. All of a sudden, guess who's in a car waiting to chase him down? Steven Seagal.
So yeah,
And those were the Russians, right?
So that's so the weird.
That's okay. So they do, these two
They're-
plots do
Yes.
intermingle. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the thing is they
See,
do.
this is how I was in vibe mode. I'm like, now please sit it back
they
together.
got there, but it's at the end of the episode.
Yes.
And it was they say a thing, and I don't know if it comes back, but their original theory on it is that they killed the guys because check cashing places use that.
Well,
Like
that
people
was the
cash
other
their
thing too,
checks.
where it's like, this is such Fox News grandpa shit.
Yeah.
Like, well, they're all gonna cash their welfare checks there tomorrow. They got a lot of cash on hand. I'm like,
Literally,
oh.
yeah.
It's stuff like that that makes me wonder if he had written something worse, and then like, you actually need to change that to white boy, or we're not airing it.
Ooh. I think he might be onto something there.
Yeah, that's the other reason Steven Seagal moved to Russia, so he could say the N-word with impunity.
Oh yeah.
Yet.
So it's called Deadly Crossing Part 1, but is it called Deadly Crossing Part 2? Absolutely not. It's called From Russia with Drugs.
But it is a continuation of the storyline.
Yes.
Okay.
Did we watch it? Absolutely not, because
I kind of wanted to. That's why I pulled up Tubi last night to watch the second
Nothing
episode of the
stops
first
you from
season.
watching this whole thing.
Well, that's why I don't. Yeah,
But
I was
then-
a little scared. That's why I had to stop myself last night, because I was like, dude, don't be one of these guys that ends up watching 2 seasons of Steven Seagal's TV show.
What do you mean these guys? That you would be the
people
first
I'm in
guy.
the room with. Oh, that's true. It is the
Yeah.
bottom of the internet.
So here's the weird thing, though, within this, like, I'm looking at the way they do these. It's like Deadly Crossing Part 1 From Russia with Drugs. Then we have Black Magic, and then we have Dark Vengeance Part 2.
Wait. So there, and then there's
Toxic E, and then Street Wars Part 2. Lethal Justice Part 1, Lethal Justice Part 2.
finally.
Yay!
Yakuza Brotherhood Part 2.
What is happening?
Urban Warfare Part 1, Diamonds in the Rough, Payback. None of it. It's the worst. I've never seen this level of incompetence.
That's
The
wild.
Fast and the Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious Fast 5. It's the same thing.
No, that's
No,
different.
because that follows in a numbered continuation of
No,
some
it's different
sort.
every time.
No,
But I mean, like,
But
it's
it's Fast
numbered.
and Furious. Okay.
Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah, like
They're all-
Fast 5, Fast and Furious 9. Where this is like nothing, then Part 2.
also,
Part
Fast and
1,
Furious
then
4
nothing.
is a soft reboot.
Yes.
So that's why it's just Fast and Furious.
But it dropped the thes.
It's
The Fast
Yeah.
and the
you know,
Furious.
once you get up to 10, it's tough
Fast
to name.
X?
You know,
Fast X.
Well, every franchise wants to get to 10 so they could do X. Saw X just got there. Jason X, right?
That's
like,
it's like a franchise EGOT type
kind
thing.
of. I think people
My
just
Dinner with Andre X.
yeah, they just want to
My
get
dinner with X-Ray.
They just want to get to that Roman numeral. That's what it's all about.
The Trip to X.
You know what though? You know what's very different? The Y-Rex. That's just about a kitchen.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. I like that pun, and I'm going to delete
Tammy
it out of
and the
this podcast.
T-Rex.
Let's let's do season 2. Okay.
Oh, the finale of the show.
Yeah, the bottle episode.
I feel like you blew past the subtitle of the season, which is The Ghost.
They do briefly mention at some point that he must be the ghost.
I assume so,
Yeah.
because no one knows who he is except for the head of the local FBI, and he only like knows of him. Well, he sees him and he immediately knows who he is, but then seems to not know anything about him, which is bizarre. You know, that they're like,
It's like when you saw the actor, you're like, I know that guy. Just
yeah,
don't-
you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because he sees me like, wait, that's Kane. He was work. That's how he thankfully
He was in Under Siege.
Yeah, like that's where I got caught up on 2 seasons worth of this show in like 4 seconds when he was like, oh, that's Kane. He was in deep cover in Seattle as a cop, and then no one's seen him. But then he seems to be the only guy in all law enforcement's ever heard of this dude, which leads me to believe that he's in such deep cover now that he is the ghost.
I think they must have known when they were filming it that they were going to do it as a show, but then also as movies, which is why they probably have to explain it every other episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah.
They realize they're like, well,
They were going to double dip.
you know what people don't do? Watch Steven Seagal TV shows. You know what they do? Buy Steven Seagal movies at the grocery store.
You don't need anyone to
Yeah.
watch
$2.99.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just you just need 1,000 people to spend $2.99.
The production company didn't need anyone to actually watch the shows. They just needed to convince a network to pay to pick it up.
Yeah,
And then they got the budgets covered for the films.
yeah. So
That's so funny.
It's
Pretty clever.
shocking more people don't do this, actually.
well, I feel like Asylum might have done that with Sci-Fi Network, possibly, because they like premiere a lot of those movies on there first,
Yeah.
like Transmorphers or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Another grocery store DVD.
Well, Asylum's whole thing is confusing old people to
Yes.
get the wrong movie.
Oh yeah.
It's literally because you remember, you're like, oh, he liked that Transformers movie. Oh, there's Transformers and it's Transmogrifiers. And you're like, that's the same thing.
Transmorphers.
Transmorphers.
Yeah, exactly. And
Well, I feel bad for some of those grandparents because Thor is public domain, and so they like see the Asylum Thor. So it literally is what the kid asked
Oh,
for.
yeah.
They just have no context for it.
although I will say to Asylum's credit, Z Nation, pretty fun show.
I haven't seen that one.
They did Sharknado as well.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's bad.
Yeah?
Z Nation is like, it was supposed to be a Walking Dead thing, like knockoff, but then they ended up just like doing all sorts of weird, crazy shit in it. Like, they kill a bunch of zombies with a giant wheel of cheese, and I'm on board with it at that point.
I'm surprised we didn't see Steven Seagal kill himself with a giant wheel of cheese in this show.
He would never kill himself.
I meant literally.
Oh,
I think we're slowly watching him kill himself. with
yeah,
cheese.
right. His cholesterol is just blocking all the arteries.
Now you get the sleep apnea joke from the start.
Yeah,
Now it's a good intro, and you have to leave it in.
that's how he kills himself. He doesn't bring a CPAP
Yep.
to set.
Sorry, I was because I was looking up some of the other actors, and Sarah Lind is in a series of movies called On Martha's Vineyard's Mysteries.
Can I guess Hallmark?
That's not a bad guess, but it's not Christmas, so I don't know if it would air on Hallmark.
They must have
Hallmark
some
one-
non-Christmas
They ha-
movies.
yeah.
I don't
mean-
see where it airs. It doesn't have like a network on the top of it, but Jesse Metcalf is in it.
I'm also curious of like because all of these actors, I'm like, what is that lifestyle to be a Steven Seagal TV show actor? Like, I'm sure they're happy for the paycheck and have the gig and stuff, but based off of some of these like credits that you're pulling up for a lot of them, they seem locked in that sort of zone of
Yeah.
Some of
like Asylum Pictures movie kind of, like they hit the ceiling, and I'm just so fascinated, like if they're just like, hey, you know, a job's a job, or that they're aware like that this is shit,
I'm
and
sure they
that
are.
they maxed out on their mediocre talent, and now they're just being verbally abused by Steven
I think
Seagal.
them.
You know?
I think they think, boy, people just don't appreciate my talent. They don't realize.
So the guy who played the dickhead cop is definitely that actor.
Yeah.
Right? He's got to be, because he thinks he's really going for it. But I think Big Sleeps is just happy to be there.
well,
Big Sleep, come on the pod.
Please.
absolutely whatever show you want to do.
I think so.
Let's do
like,
more episodes of True Justice. Big Sleep.
because like
watch one whole Seagal movie.
Yeah.
because I just know from like being a comic and a former extra and stuff like that, that I would be like happy with the health insurance and the paycheck, and I try and be Big Sleeps about it.
Yeah.
But I'm also such a snob that I think I would be so depressed
Yeah.
that that's where I found myself.
Here's the thing. It's different for you being a comic because if you're
I
on-
could use it. You're
exactly.
right. You're right.
You'd be like,
yeah.
I'm doing this for the bit.
For
and
sure.
it's going to be a great bit.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fair. When I used to do theater, though, I was like in Jekyll and Hyde, which is one of the worst musicals I've ever.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, that one. It's so bad.
I know.
There's like literally, he does like the weird Star Wars thing. He's like, but from my perspective, the judges are evil.
Yeah.
It's like one of the worst scripts, and I was in such a depression doing that.
Yeah.
Like when I was like 20 or whatever.
I had that in high school theater where it was so bad that I just start like mailing it in, just trying to get through the season. It's not a good feel. That's why I started thinking
This
about.
brings us to the final episode of
Yeah, well,
True
no,
Justice.
we're in it. Yeah. So he like, not it's because we're in the finale. It is just all action, really.
Yeah, but boring action. Very dull.
You know, you bring up a good point. It did make me kind of long for the crystal meth frenetic aesthetic of the first season. And like
It makes you question what is action if you're not thrilled by it.
because like
It's just movement at that point.
yeah,
As he
very,
tries
very
to
good
get at
point.
the ghost.
Dude, that's so true. But that, like, I did find myself a little more, I don't know if bored's the right word. But
You're allowed to say because I was.
I guess it was bored, but I think it was maybe because I was a little more tired that I could have watched so many more episodes of that iteration of the show because of how
The second one?
Yeah, that it just is like so paint by numbers and everything. And I used to watch a lot of Cold Case late at night when I get home working at a bar and stuff. So,
So it's like very procedural.
yeah,
you
the,
can kind
like,
of follow.
Yeah, or like if you ever watch Blue Bloods, you know, stuff like that, where it's just
Still
like,
on the air somehow.
Oh, I know how. Because it's like soup that isn't flavored very much. You know, it's like everybody can eat it, and nobody's Campbell's soup. Yeah, it's like Campbell's out of the can.
Oh, I love that.
And so I feel like the second season had like that kind of thing going on that made me more just like, all right, yeah, I could see myself falling asleep to this. Versus the first season, it was straight up disorienting. Like in a way that where I was like, I like visual artists, I like weird stuff, so it was way more. The intensity of it is. But I don't think that frenetic shooting and all that in the first one helps the action necessarily.
No.
It kept my interest more. I'm trying to think of interesting plot points to bring up from the second episode.
Because basically, yeah, they're just chasing after this ghost, and then they're gonna shoot
Not
him.
a ghost.
No,
The
the
ghost.
ghost.
The
Sorry, yeah,
ghost.
chasing after this ghost. Sorry, this guy Ghost.
Yeah.
They're chasing after the ghost, and they
Ghostface Killer from Wu-Tang Clan.
I wish so much. And then they like just kind of like he's gonna escape into Canada. Is that the?
For some reason, they're like, no, let him go into Canada and I'll shoot over the border. I think
Because
they
then
ju-
it's Canada's problem.
It's
He's
international. They're not stupid. They know the border's right there. They know the shot came from America. Now you've got Interpol on your case. Like, it's a worse plan. They have the opportunity to shoot him before he crosses the border. They're like, let's wait.
Well, the plan was to shoot him before he crosses the border, right?
They have a clear shot.
Yeah.
Like, as they're having his documents checked before he crosses the border, they have him in their sights, and for some reason, Seagal's just like,
and then
nah.
he bails on his crew after that,
Yeah.
right?
That's the end of the
So maybe Elijah Kane,
Thank
is
you.
just a cheeky minx, you know?
Thank you for continually correcting yourself with the
He-
character name, because I bet Seagal also at times was wondering which one was the real man.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of what actually.
Mostly people just wander around chasing. There's like a shootout in a parking garage.
But I think we missed all the setup
Yeah.
because they're not labeled properly.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know any of the characters. The characters have all changed to
They've
other
all
generic
changed.
looking
And they
people.
have no discernible.
They look like
anything.
Sims.
Sarah
Yes.
Lind is still there. His
Okay.
main partner is still there.
Okay, so we know who. Well, no, I'm
Wait,
not going to
she
do this
is?
joke.
I don't remember that.
Who's fucking Seagal?
Well, all right. Jeez.
I probably not, but
now we're up for libel.
what?
Nah, I know.
Yeah, satire pod.
All
Finally. Oh no, I have great lawyers. That's actually.
I've been
Great.
joking this entire time. I
You
actually.
hate Seagal?
I hate Seagal. I love Ren and Stimpy's adult animation party. I didn't mail it in one act play in 2003.
So yeah, the FBI agents are trying to chase him and find out where he's gonna be, and he's in the wind, and then eventually.
Imagine not being able to catch the slowest man on earth.
Yeah.
He beats up a guy in a warehouse, right? That happens
There should be scenes of him like at an airport using the moving walkway. That's a more realistic depiction of that character.
He's driving a Yukon.
Yeah.
The like biggest, least conspicuous car that you could have. Drives it up on a bridge.
A bridge that's big enough for one car.
For a Yukon of no less. And then they close in, and I love this. This is my favorite device. Law enforcement on one end of the bridge, law enforcement on the other, and they meet in the middle, and they're like, where is he?
They turn into Goofy?
Yeah, or like, that's what they pretty much. Yeah,
He
they're
must
like,
have jumped off the bridge.
Yeah. That's totally that's how they treat it, and they're like, geez, well, and then you hear Seagal be like, I'll find you, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, keep underground. I'll find you.
Yeah.
I've got you. Season 3. That's what we're doing.
they're like, we're bleeding to death underground in his parking garage. Oh, but don't worry. I saw one of my old coworkers just randomly as the actual cop showed up to the shootout, and he's gonna look into it for us. But yeah, the dude that's arrested is still arrested. So, anywho, we'll see.
I didn't expect to say this, but as we're talking about it, I'm reflecting. I don't think the second episode was an improvement. Because of how stupid the first episode was, it made it more enjoyable.
Yeah, well,
there's no weird insights into Seagal's psychology in the second episode.
I'll give you that. The thing that I will counter with is that I got so tired of hearing the Seagal script speak in the first episode that it was such a relief to just be in the Blue Bloods territory of like bad script writing.
Yeah.
Do you know what's funny about the show though is the person who wrote the other episodes is just the guy that actually directs and writes all of his stuff. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, you had your chance, buddy. Let's let Keone Waxman get back in on the...
Keone Waxman.
Yep.
That sounds like a Seagal character.
That is not a real name.
Yep,
Keone
that's the guy.
Waxman.
He wrote the second season. Best known for his work with Steven Seagal since 2009. So
that's his just in-house director now.
You think he's in Russia too?
Wait, so then that begs the question... Is it his choice or Seagal's choice in the first season to have it look so insane?
Seagal.
Okay.
Or the network. They worked before they were
because there's a different director of the episode that I watched, Ghost, in the credits, because I was looking for
Wayne
it.
Rose, but he's also one of the main people for the... But it's he also directed a lot of the first season. So,
okay. Because I was curious if it was a thing where it's like Keone Waxman is his like hired goon, and then they're like, all right, Keone, you can write the scripts. We're not letting you touch a camera. And then they brought in like an actual crew. But apparently it's just they gave Seagal a shot to just have full creative control.
Yeah.
And they went along with it. And then Reels came in and were like, listen, you want the money for this second season.
Do you want $40?
Cut the shit, okay? Give us an actual police procedural.
We could use a real police procedural. Yeah, we want it to be gritty. Do all the drug stuff you want. But we need
beat people up from a car, but you got to stop disorienting these elderly people that left Reels on.
What's a good international TV series circa 2011 that was not getting played in America that they could have bought instead?
Oh, that's a good question.
I have no idea.
There's got to be like a British show that
Luther.
Yeah, PBS I think had Luther. Didn't
No, they did.
Or
I
BBC
don't know.
America.
Hey man, that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah,
off the
no,
dome.
I was about to
That's
say
all
Luther's great. By the
Yeah.
way, yeah.
Like Reels. I'm
Reels
sure
could have had Luther.
Reels could have found a good British show to pick up instead of this.
Oh, you know what they could have gotten? Top Boy.
I don't know Top Boy. Who's in it?
Top Boy's great. It's a drug dealer like conflict. It's like
It was
it's
BBC?
like it's British, but
Cool.
it's about like British gangs and stuff, London drug dealers.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, they should have done that.
I
No,
love
Top-
that accent.
Oh, Top Boy is great. 4 seasons. Highly
Like
recommend Top
instead
Boy.
of Seagal, they should have done a thing like that.
Yeah, I'd much
That's-
rather have guys be like, "Listen here, bro.
Yeah.
I'll touch a tree." Told him, that kind of like
Yeah, this is
English gangster where they're all pulling knives out on each other and
Yeah,
stuff.
that would be great.
my pitch to improve the show is actually not for True Justice. It's for Reels Network, and it's to purchase that show instead.
They still exist.
I don't
Reels?
think maybe.
I
Are they
doubt
still
it.
getting in the original content game?
Reels pick up bottle episodes for TV.
Yeah. Actually, that would have fit with their actual programming.
No, this is a podcast about TV, not TV about
Oh,
movies.
that's true.
yeah, that's so close. We're so close
Yeah,
now.
that's true.
This was competing with the Impractical Jokers. That's what was happening.
Oh, it is the same audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a full 1-to-1. Oh, Fresh Meat. That was another good. That's a good British show.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. I haven't seen a lot of stuff though, and
Thankfully, you've seen True Justice.
and that's
though.
well, that's what I was saying is that's why I was glad I stopped myself from watching a third episode because there's so much stuff that I haven't seen, and then it would be pretty embarrassing. People are like, "Why? What? You haven't seen it yet?" I'm like, "Sorry, I've just been plowing through Steven Seagal's True Justice."
I like you don't even just call it True Justice. You call it Steven Seagal's True Justice.
Well, I got they don't know what it is. So
Right.
if I call it True Justice, they'd be like, True Detective? They're like, no. And then
At
I
that
got
point, I just say yes and I move on.
yeah, I just want to get it out of the way. Steven Seagal's True Justice.
You ascribe
Don't
the-
ask me about it. I'm embarrassed. I can't even believe I watched as much as I already
You
have.
ascribe the auteur theory to Steven Seagal for this.
Yeah, right. Well, that when I was in college, I had a roommate who, very unique guy, eventually became an Army Ranger. Used to sleep on a twin mattress on the floor with an assassin's bell over his door. Loved Steven Seagal movies, and we would drink whiskey, and that's how I got into him. Was hanging out on like a Saturday night or something.
Tell him about this show.
I will. I'll hit him up. Yeah, Andrew Shannon. Shout outs to Yanker, aka Yanker.
AKA Yanker is a nickname that Skull would give someone and make them put it in the credits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jimmy, a.k.a. Yanker.
Yeah.
Simpson.
Yeah, Andrew Yanker Shannon.
Okay. So, by the way, we should say what we'd approve about the thing. But
That is what I would improve. Yeah. I would have reels by a different show.
So they pitched ideas for Seagal, and he gave some of his own. But this is one of the sketch ideas from Seagal.
Oh, please.
He had this idea that he's a therapist, and he wanted Victoria Jackson to be his patient who had just been raped.
Oh,
And
my
the
God.
therapist says, you're going to have to come to me twice a week for like 3 years, because he said that's how therapists fucking are. They're just trying to get your money. And then the psychiatrist tries to have sex with her.
I was right then.
Yep,
Yup.
that is
Yep.
exactly, that is the man who made ideas for this show.
Yikes.
I would improve the show by making Steven Seagal go to a therapist for 3 years.
What?
Not like in that
Yeah.
sketch, but like he actually needs help.
Like, well, I want to know who's the therapist that ripped him off in his mind.
L.
Like,
Ron
is this
Hubbard.
like a Tony Soprano thing? Oh, was it? I mean,
no. He like doesn't Scientology hate psychiatrists and all that?
yeah,
stuff?
but that's why
Yeah.
I'm saying Seagal would have been a prime Scientology
Yeah.
candidate before he got into
Oh, maybe that is
Buddhism,
the
I
sketch. He
guess.
just hates psychiatrists because of Scientology. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, so
But I think, well, I think it's like this Tony Soprano situation where he goes in and they just do basic like therapy, and he goes, "What the hell are you trying to say?" And then storms out because it's like an affront to his ego or whatever.
yeah. That would
But-
probably be, and then, he'll try to have sex with his therapist at some point.
Yeah. Like Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Like a psychopath would.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I've never had intimacy.
Yeah. Oh, you like me?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I also heard this urban legend. I'm sure it's probably true. My wife told me this yesterday that a big time Hollywood producer in the 80s was like grandstanding as somebody else in the industry. It was like, I can make anybody a star.
Yep.
I can take the biggest asshole you've ever met in your life and make them huge. And then they're like, oh, yeah, prove it. He's like, all right, well, I have this personal trainer who's mean as hell. And it was Steven Seagal.
Yep.
Is that true?
I've heard it before.
Yeah.
But he was also married to the woman from Weird Science, so he had
Kelly LeBrock.
He had ins in the industry.
Oh, okay. But
I've heard that story before. as
well,
well,
and like any good urban legend, it is so believable.
Yeah.
That you want it to be true, right?
Yeah.
And like, because it speaks to his, well, not his character, his lack of character, I guess. And I don't mean on the screen.
Oh yeah, you
No,
were the man.
yeah.
Across, maybe that's why he can't write characters. He has
yeah.
no humanity.
Well,
in
it's
him.
vulnerability. He's
Yeah.
in zero vulnerability, and
Yeah.
that is where all good character comes from.
Yeah.
Tony Soprano is a good character because
Yeah.
you see his vulnerability.
Absolutely.
Steven Seagal has
And
zero
his insecurity.
vulnerabilities.
Well, you can see Steven Seagal's insecurity. He just has no idea that you
He's
see
putting it out. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah. That's, I think, what makes him such a fascinating, like, pop culture character, like, in our lifetime is that. And I always find that hilarious because I grew up in Nebraska around, like, tough a-holes, So, like, anytime I see some older dude keeping up a tough guy facade that, like, nobody's buying, ooh,
it's
that's that sweet.
Seagal energy.
Yeah, I don't need the horse that they're selling outside the club. That's my heroin.
Okay. How would you improve the show? besides just more seasons, apparently.
I think if you could like blend the first 2 seasons aesthetics together a little bit better, like cut down on all the bumper shots of the skyline, slow down like that crystal meth kind of, and also the high contrast sort of thing a little bit.
Yeah.
But get like that forget his name already. I'm so sorry. The head of the FBI in the second episode.
Oh, yeah.
If you get more people like him around it, I think, like I said, later at night, the way I would used to watch Cold Case or things like that, I would watch a Steven Seagal kind of CBS procedural. And I think they're also trying to do like a CSI kind of thing in the first season that they're failing at terribly, but that kind of, hyper stylized direction.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I think they're trying to go gritty.
Yeah, but I mean, like at that time, CSI really popularized that, like, the high contrast, the fluorescence, the like insane zooms and all of that. So I think if you just like blend the two a little bit better, and I mean keep Big Sleeps. I don't know why Big Sleeps isn't in the second.
Moving on
season.
to bigger and better things.
Bigger and better sleeps.
Bigger and better sleeps.
He had a coma to get to.
Okay.
Big coma.
I think
Yeah, they called him Big Coma. He had so many big sleeps.
I think we just kill Seagal gets killed in the second episode. Big Sleeps take over.
Yeah.
Seagal comes back as a ghost.
Not the ghost, just a ghost.
A ghost.
Yeah.
And to give Big Sleeps advice.
Nice.
And that way, he doesn't have to move a lot. He can have a ghost Bronco, the car, that he drives around
You
in.
just gave me an idea of a version of A Christmas Carol where Steven Seagal plays every spirit.
That's funny.
All right, guys, we're going to write our own Steven Seagal
There you go.
scripts. Let's recommend TV shows and get out of here.
If you want to see a show about a famous guy with no self-awareness, watch every Alan Partridge show out there.
Love that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
Good rec.
great. Yeah.
So I haven't seen this show, but
Great start.
okay, off the top of the dome, since we're talking about reels and stuff, you guys remember when Cracked tried to go into original programming?
Yep.
So I only remember the commercials for this, but Patrick Warburton, who famously played Putty on Seinfeld, was in a Cracked original series where he was. It's also one of these like wannabe gritty. I think he might have been like a bad lawyer or something. I'm not sure what it was.
By the way, can I
It's like his
say
version of
recommending
Billions?
these are like good shows. Like the
Oh, well, this is a terrible one.
that's okay. That's I felt like I was like, oh, I don't. We're trying to like.
you want something good?
It's like, hey, we
Something
just
I've actually
talked
watched?
about something terrible.
Sure, a palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I found this show. I'm just going to talk about late night watches now. A couple months ago on Pluto, Cheap Irish Houses. I love this show.
Is it a
What is it?
documentary about cheap Irish houses?
It's like house hunters, but Irish people. And apparently it was a really popular Instagram account, and this lady that ran, and she finds these really like hundreds of year old houses out on these acreages and stuff. And she takes these like young families from Dublin who all want to like move out to the country and shows them these, some of them dilapidated, some of them are weird as hell, but it's just the most dulcet Irish tones. Everybody has great accents. You see all these like stone fences that were built hundreds of years ago. They give the history of the family property.
I'm going to recommend this show to my mom. She would love that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like any like wind down stuff. That's the show I would recommend. Since that's what I was talking about this whole time. I was like, man, I could get into this show if I'm trying to fall asleep to something, which seems fucked up. That I'm falling asleep to Steven Seagal blowing people's kneecaps out.
In fairness,
but-
he's also falling asleep.
That's why he's in the car.
Yeah.
He's always taking his nap in between
Yeah.
shoots, and they're just like, yeah, let's just do it right here.
We got to reset the camera. That's fine.
And they
so what I'd recommend if you want a mindless action show that's really good, Banshee.
I heard that's good.
Banshee's great. Banshee's really fun. It's
Combine it with the cheap Irish houses, Banshees of Inisherin.
Whoa. Damn.
but way more violent.
Yeah.
It stars Anthony Starr from The Boys now. He's Homelander on The Boys. And it's really great. It's insane and involves, I think, like 5 mafias by the end. So if you want a show that doesn't make sense but is like way more fun to watch, that's the one to go with.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.